This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
Hey, good evening. It's once again going off grid. Today's episode 19. I am one of your co-hosts here, Sheep Bender, along with Crypto Queen. We appreciate everybody out there on X Spaces and worldwide. Shout out to the podcast. Today is Monday, June 29th, 2026. And yeah, we got a couple interesting topics tonight. First, as always, let me go ahead and go through this disclaimer here. This is not financial advice. You can lose all your money investing. This is also not for educational or entertainment purposes. I nor anyone that is speaking is a financial, political, legal, medical, betting, or any type of an expert advisor. These are our thoughts and opinions on different topics only. This is being recorded for future rebroadcasts and clips on other platforms. Thank you. Okay. Tonight, a lot of good things going on this week. First off, we got the 250th anniversary of the United States popping off. 4th of July here. Also, I want to say, just some really good things going on this week. That was really about it. Don't let me lie. That was enough. 250 years of, what a ride. And I could have been born in a lot of places on the planet. I think I ended up here for a reason, so I'm glad that I am here in regards to that. So I appreciate being able to celebrate here in this great nation with everything there too as well. So, yeah. Right now, what I'm doing, I don't want to sound too distracted here, but what I am doing is I am posting up a couple of things here to the Jumbotron. Let me get shut out here to Queen. Hopefully she can come up. Queen, you doing all right? Can we hear you?
Hey, Bender. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How about you?
Whew, long day. I'm here.
Hey, I feel you. I feel you 1,000,000% on that. I don't really want to kind of get into the kind of crazy last week and a half or so I've had, but here, which is always a good start.
Yes.
You got any community shout outs you want to do?
I can't even think of any right now, Bender.
You're fine. I'm posting mine up here, so I'm going to go through mine.
Okay.
I don't know if you were in the room earlier, but I was talking about the 4th of July this week coming up. Should be a good holiday weekend for a lot of people. I think hopefully, we'll get to celebrate with a 3-day weekend. I think it does fall on Saturday, but hopefully a lot of people get Friday or Monday off, if not both, with that one. But either way, hope everybody gets to enjoy a moment, appreciate the freedoms, even though as rough as this country is, we could be off a lot worse, y'all. I'm just going to put it like that. I've said some things on this app I know would probably have me not still talking in a lot of different countries right now. I'll put it that way. So I'm going to just say thank you for the freedoms that we do have here, and hopefully we'll continue to fight to keep and expand those freedoms moving forward here with everyone. We're going to talk a little bit about communism tonight. I've been thinking about this long and hard in regards to communism. So we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight, and how that relates to crypto actually. With everything there too. But a couple of them I've just been posting up here. Some of my community shout outs here today. First off, I just want to say a prayer to everyone out there in the world just going through natural disasters, just absolute freaking natural disasters, y'all. There was a massive earthquake in Venezuela a couple of days ago. I know up here by the Great Lakes, we've been getting hit with a lot of tornadoes. I haven't heard about any hurricanes, but I'm pretty sure it's hurricane season right now. Shout out to the south in the eastern parts of the United States. There's wildfires going on out west. There's, I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure that every category of natural disaster is happening somewhere in the world right now. Tsunami, I just heard about that one the last week or so somewhere. So anybody going through catastrophic natural disasters, my thoughts, strength, and prayer go out to you. Also, I put this one up here. Crypto Nick had a photo of a blue jay napping in the backyard. You know, I got a soft spot for just natural nature type of things happening out there in the world. Fun one here. Julie the cat is growing some big, beautiful plants. They look like mini trees. They reminded me, Julie, of like the lads, like little sequoia trees growing up. And Queen, I know if Julie were to give you one of these plants, it's not a matter of if, but how many you would take. If she was to grant you some marijuana plants, how many would you pick up?
I don't know, Bender. I, it depends on how potent these plants are.
Let's go.
If they were anything like the Michigan plants, I'm just going to stay away from those.
Okay. Oh, I love you, Queen. You know, I don't tell Queen this, y'all. Queen, put your ears on mute. But there's at least one time each of these episodes, I just like to hit Queen with something just clear out the blues that she did not know about. It's always a good time.
Look, Andrew has some plants that are especially potent. You don't want any part of that.
Right. I heard about that. Sitting around the campfire, right?
He brought them to Charlotte for.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he brought them to Charlotte. They were actually gummies, and let's just say, just stop at one. Don't go for that second one because the first one didn't do anything.
Oh wow, yeah. And you definitely don't ever know when those will creep up on you. Yeah, you got to definitely watch out for whatever you ingest and how long it takes to kick in. Not medical advice.
Because you will watch your bag go around the conveyor belt for about half an hour before you realize it's your bag.
Oh my gosh. That's awesome. Well, yeah, yo. If y'all get a chance, man, check out these trees from Julie. Though they are beautiful, and you look like a professional, Julie. I've seen you literally, no pun intended, but I've seen your growth over here for the past year or two with these, and wow, it just looks like you got quite the operation going there. So salute to you. Also, on a little bit of a different note here, in trees, Dosey. Our guy Dosey, speaking of the lads, shout out to Sheba Sequoia Forest too, by the way. Lad, I hope you're out there doing well wherever you're at. But Dosey was doing cleanup after a tornado in Charleston. Didn't specify which Charleston. I know there's several Charlestons out there in terms of that one, but I did post that up. He had was out there cutting down trees, and I think, I don't know if it's in this thread, but I think at some point he said it was like a voluntary thing that they did to help out people, in these kind of disaster areas, and no extra charge. So just salute to everybody out there doing their thing this week. My last one goes out to this lady, Queen. This lady, if y'all haven't seen this video yet, y'all check out this video. It's up here with Mario Nawfal. But this lady in Canada is out there with her dog. Her dog looks pretty big. It looks like some kind of almost like a hybrid German Shepherd. But she is fending off this grizzly, y'all. And if you watch this video, this grizzly is like circling her within feet. And she is like growling at it and just fending it off. And I assume she made it because the video got released with everything. But I honestly, I don't live in Canada. There's no native grizzlies anywhere near where I'm at. I have though. I've been to zoos with moose and grizzlies, and they are effing massive, like shockingly massive, up close and personal. And I can't imagine just like a wild, non-domicile one just running up on me with no glass protection or anything in between. And this is just a heroic moment when this lady comes face to face. So she's not part of the community, but anybody that's fighting off grizzlies is you got added to my community. How about that? So salute to you with everything.
Okay, but I saw that video. That was crazy.
You saw that?
She had the dog with her, and she was like growling and telling it to go away and stuff. And I was thinking, what would you do in that situation? Like, you can't run. I mean, because then it would just chase you like it was attacking. But she, did the right thing, I guess, and looked fearsome enough. And her dog, maybe, I guess the grizzly left her alone.
Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I think at some point it got to her protecting her dog. I think because like you didn't see, like at first you saw the dog in the video, and then after like the grizzly ran up a couple of times, and all of a sudden you didn't see the dog anymore after that. Like I think the dog was behind her, like, oh my gosh, like this grizzly's massive. Like I don't want them problems. Yeah, I think the adrenaline kicked in, and she I don't know. She might be just in the area where they've got some kind of experience dealing with bears and that kind of thing. But yeah, you saw at the end though, she kind of took off like, "Oh, I got my opportunity. I'm out." But yeah,
that was crazy.
That video, we could have, somebody could have found that her phone somewhere, and that video could have turned out a lot different. So yeah, salute to her. Queen, I haven't done market updates in a while. Usually I don't know. It's the time. I just put it down as a notes here. So let's take a look. Bitcoin right now is 60,000 and change. ETH shade over 1,600. BNB at 559. XRP $5-ish. Sol's actually been performing not too bad this week. 74, almost $75, 74.94. Let's see here. Hype. I know a lot of people in the hype team right now, 66 and change. Doge at about 7 cents. Going to scroll down here. Hanging in there tough on CoinMarketCap at number 30. Sheave, a few zeros and 5425 back. More than a few zeros. I think it's about 4 or 5 zeros with that one. And let's take a look here as we go over to. Let me see if I can find my TradingView app. There it is right there. I'm not going through the whole big entire market stuff, but Tesla at about 411, Apple at about 281, gold's a shade over 4,000, silver's about 58 and change. Wow, silver's kind of down. I think it's about 120 going into January and February there. Wow. Let's see here. And then I thought I had, oh, wow. What did they do? They took SpaceX off? What? Oh, okay. SpaceX 164 and change. I've been kind of keeping an eye on SpaceX here. SpaceX also, speaking of them, going live on the NASDAQ 100, I believe July 7th. So kind of interested to see how that turns out, as we talked about a couple weeks before. And if anybody cares, Queen, I know you care. You're a Coinbase maxi. Coin is at 151 right now. With that one there.
Coinbase Maxi. Look, I know. I was just thinking, like Kathy Woods, like buying up Coinbase, like is going out of style. And they have so much, like they're wanting to be the everything app with all their tokenized stocks trading that they've got going on. Like, not financial advice, of course, but I'm going to be looking for an entry at some point. I've been in and out over the years since they IPO'd, and you just got to think, you know, it's going to be huge in the future. But anyway, I don't know.
Oh, Queen, did we lose you? Hopefully we didn't lose Queen. Big shouts out to everybody coming in though right now. I'll go and give a couple shouts out. Sat from Subway, Treasure, Gabby. Is that Old Waddle? Yes, it is. Appreciate you coming in here. Welcome to Going Off Grid, episode 19. Mike, I appreciate the love that you showed us. Julie the Cat, the great Digital Pulse. Thank you for coming through, as well as Pizarro. And anybody else out there listening, we appreciate you too as well. Tonight, let's see here. Queen, I think you, what you got in your mind this week? Let me just, you listener. Okay, what I got on my mind this week. Hopefully we'll get Queen back. Spaces, y'all. Elon, if you don't do anything else, now that X is part of the official package, I'm pretty sure it is in the multitudes of trillions despite the market price. Let's do something with Spaces, man. Let's just, if you can get Spaces working correctly, I will tell you personally, that will be one of the greatest upgrades out of everything. That's like sending rockets up, bro, at this point. Like, let's just get X working normally. Queen, I got you up here. Did you have any thoughts this week on anything besides Coinbase?
Yeah, this market is just completely bizarre. Like, who knows? It's going up, going down. I know you talked about a lot of the tokens already and what's going on with Bitcoin, Michael Saylor. Like, it's hard to keep up with all the news, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Have you seen all the comparison tweets from 2021? Like, if you had 10,000 in DOT in 2021, it's worth like $140 today, or.
Yeah, I saw a tweet today that said, shout out to the people who bought Ethereum at $4,900. And I was thinking, oh my God. Yeah, I'm sure I have some $4,900 ETH in there somewhere.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, it's been a wild market. But I think not financial advice. I don't know if the pain stopped, but I'm accumulating a little here and there, a little there. I just keep watching the charts. I should just put out a tweet every time I buy something, because there's usually whatever I buy, there's an immediate another dip. Like, I'm looking at the chart. I'm like, okay, but that's okay. Like, I DCA, and it's just a trigger, and then I come back and scoop a little more when it gets lower.
Then are you the top signal?
No, I've been doing really good, actually. I've been really doing good. Yeah, I'm under. I'll just say I'm under at least 70, 75 on Sol right now. Average. I don't. If chart reading has always been, I got some different ways of learning and thinking, y'all. So I don't try to hide that. So, like, chart reading's always kind of like an ongoing tutorial thing for me. And but I've always been pretty decent at buying around the bottoms. Like, I know I can at least, I might not always get the very, very bottom of the bottom, but I can usually find crypto on its way back up. Yeah, like, it'll usually go up later. Like, I don't know how much later, but selling at the top has been my problem. That's round tripping has really been my problem. I don't want to talk about it, that's that's therapy. If I had not round tripped in 2021, where I would be at right now, that's I'm just going to chalk it to the game and look forward to the future. But yeah, buying bottoms or buying dips has always been at least a decent thing.
Well, are we at the bottom now,
Not
Bender?
financial
Have we
advice.
found the bottom, or we still have a little ways to go? And
I'm thinking,
is MicroStrategy going to be the bottom for us?
I don't know at this point, Queen. Everything indicates historically 40, 45 for Bitcoin before the bounce back, but the institutional money, I thought that last time at 65 and it snapped right back up in the market. And then I feel grateful that it pulled back down again to this level because I thought we were just on the rise. But I don't know what the institution's bringing right now. Like, I don't think that portion has been, historically introduced because they weren't even really here last cycle, until this cycle now, I should say, so I don't know. Like, like BlackRock can lift the market, Like, I mean, what if all the big boys just get together and just really just start, just buying up everything at once and just pumping, Like, I think they can turn on the faucet at any time.
They sure did move a lot over to sell, I guess, today.
Yeah, so they can do that too. Yeah. I don't know what's, like, I don't know what they feel comfortable at. I think, what it, I don't want to go back and try to revisit, historical facts, but I just kind of recall BlackRock really, buying in around 50, 55. So I don't really, I don't really see them like kind of going past that, Like I think there's a nice floor somewhere for institutions at some point, But I don't know.
Mike is laughing down there. Mike, come talk to us. Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, they can dump and make it lower. They don't care. I mean, they got enough money, Like I just don't know. Like I don't know what we're dealing with right now. It's a strange, brave new world. The only thing I can tell y'all is I'm pretty sure Bitcoin's going to do better than 60K in the future, and I'm pretty sure the survivors of the altcoin market are going to do better than their current prices. So I don't know if necessarily you're buying the absolute bottom and the best pricing available, coming up here in the future. But I'm pretty confident. I'll speak for myself. I'm pretty confident that what I've been buying is going to go up eventually. So I just been I've been studying it. So I'm not mad.
And don't you think sometimes about these people that bought Bitcoin at like $300, $1,200, like what cojones they must have had to hold to 124 or whatever it went to? Like, that's some conviction right there.
Not only that, I think if you were probably experienced and you were in the game for a while, you probably were probably had a trade back along the way. You're probably long and shorting along the way, just to kind of keep some funds up. But like for anybody that just diamond handed that, to 120K, But I mean, what do you do? Like if what do you do if you bought like Bitcoin at 300 and like it goes from 20,000 to 10,000? Like, I mean, you're still up from 300. You know what I mean? Like, you just, if you don't need the money, like, like you're just looking at like, I mean, just imagine like if you're buying Bitcoin right now and then all of a sudden it's just, dropping from 1.6 million to 1 million. Like you're just like, all right, like I don't know, like, I mean, that hurts. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's just like I'm still up like. 12x. So I don't know. But it's still, I don't know. Gosh, y'all. I think I could do it, Queen. I think I can do it.
Could you do it? I know. I've proven to myself that I cannot do it. So
I went from 400 to 40,000. I watched that happen. and I was going for 400, and that didn't happen. So I think I
Oh
In
Lord.
fact, actually, it went way back the opposite, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't want to put y'all through that. Yeah. Like, yeah. But I think I could do it. Yeah. Like, yeah. I think I could do it.
Yeah, I'll tell you my Bitcoin story. I started buying at 69, the last top, because I buy tops. And I spent the whole summer like DCAing down, and I finally got my average to like 44,000. And I put a stop loss on there, and I said, all right, if it drops below 44, I'm out. And
Howdy.
sure enough, it hit 44, sold. And I could kick myself for doing that because, of course, it went right back next cycle to 120 something. And, I decided to put that money on JPEGs instead. And that was probably the smartest move I've made in a long time. And they're like officially worthless now. So I should have kept my Bitcoin.
Right. Yeah. Bitcoin's about, don't get me wrong. I think Bitcoin's probably about, I wouldn't say any of it's surefire, but out of everything, that's about your best bet. Even I have to admit that, and I'm way more of an altcoin guy. We got Mike and Pulse up here. Appreciate y'all coming up here. We're going off grid, episode 19 with Cream. We got some trends lessons tonight. We're talking Bitcoin, a little bit of Clarity Act. Mike, you got your hand up. How are you doing?
John, yeah, I can't be on too long. I'll be mostly in the background. But yeah, I wanted to say that, yeah, IDCA regardless. For me, it's while the market's down, going down sideways, DCA. This is my opinion. Once you enter price discovery, start DCAing out. That's the hard part. I don't know about you guys. For me, the hard part is taking out money when we have price discovery, when you're getting all new all-time highs. But you have to get not emotional about it, because worst case scenario, you take it out, you don't need the money, and then you wait for a little crack and buy back in. That's what I always tell people. Like, listen, it's not about like holding forever. It's either that or you can take out loans, and you know how the loans are. They can get risky because if you take out a loan and you get liquidated, you're fucked. So yeah, for me it's DCAing on the way down, DCAing on the way up until we have price discovery, then DCAing out.
That's beautiful.
But like, isn't this alt market just completely crazy? Like Pulse was talking about last week on Canine Finance space, that this is like we're in the I guess the last time the alt market showed dominance was right before the Trump token was released, and then Melania, and you know what happened with that. So we're flashing signals again that the alt market is going to rally potentially. And like now we see this weekend, all the alts that we've been holding bags from since 2020, 2021. Like here comes Ansem, this random token out of nowhere that just mooned. And like, okay, so we're still holding our bags. Like, who's going to predict what is actually going to go up? We should have just kept our money on the sidelines and jumped into Ansem at some point. Not financial advice.
Well,
Don't do that.
I can tell you a story, Jen. So I haven't really been in crypto seriously until like 2020. I was kind of in crypto like in 2018, 19. But I can say this because this is public information. So in 2018, I was working in a political campaign in New York City, and I was in a room with Eric Finn, the youngest Bitcoin millionaire. Some of you guys have heard of him on TV and stuff like that. So he told me to my face in 2018, I think it was 2019, February, Bitcoin is dead. What was the price of Bitcoin at that time? Like $2,000. So at the end of what I'm trying to say is like everything is dead until it's not. People that hold long term, that's where you make the money, is holding. Even Raul Paul says it. If you would have just held the whole time instead of
99
selling.
99% of that shit's never coming back, and you're wrong.
Oh, that's true. Pulse. Okay, so that was I write articles about this. Most cryptocurrency is not coming back. It's garbage. Yes, and the Clarity Act is not picking the winners, but it's setting the conditions for most cryptocurrencies to not come back. Like, I'm not gonna say certain assets. You guys see me trashing. Zach knows. Treasure knows. You guys see me trashing certain assets all the time. But yes, Pulse is right. Unless your cryptocurrency has some sort of usage in this new world finance, like just for example, not as financial advice, I'm not selling anything cheap, but like for example, Solana being used for tokenized assets and agent to agent payments. unless it has some kind of usage, it's not coming back. Go ahead, Pulse. I gotta go. I'll be in the background.
I actually came up to ask if Ansem was saving the trenches.
It's saving his bags, that's for sure. What does he hold, like 60% or something of the supply?
Well, true, but sentiment can be everything, right? Isn't it that simple?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. You just gotta know which one's gonna be the runner. And like, I mean, did you get in?
I'm not saying anyone should get in now, but people who got in earlier will be able to get out when people continue to pile in, is what I will say. I don't have enough money on the line to give a shit if I lost it, because I definitely didn't get in soon enough. I was at car events all day on Saturday. I fucked up and had my phone in my pocket and missed the train on that one.
Yeah, I've just come to know, like, to learn that if once you see it on Twitter, it's too late. Now, I guess with this one, once I saw it, it really wasn't too late. But I mean, how are you to know if it's gonna run like that or not? I don't know.
Well, like the float is what's fucked up. The float is a nightmare, and that's why it's running the way that it is, and that's why you saw people start talking about the liquidity today, and why it looks like the numbers are higher than they are. And he did the airdrop today, and I saw that there was one person that got a quote $1 million airdrop, but that's another one of those like $1 million in unrealized gains wouldn't be $1 million if they sold the bag situations. So it's a lot of hype and smoke and bullshit, but it is nice to have like something on the timeline to see, like, it's at least we're getting a sample of what the timeline algorithm might look like if something tried to run, because we actually haven't seen like a functional pressure test of the new X bullshit system 3.0. So if anything, at least because like I'm still not seeing a lot of it on my timeline. I don't know how you guys are doing about getting fed the stuff you think you want to see on X, but this is at least a test for that.
Yeah, but on the other hand, it just seems like, okay, we're still in grift mode. Like, this is nothing with any utility, any use case. Like, we're just all about hype still. And I don't see how any real token's going to make it in this environment. It's crazy.
No, for sure. It's a PvP thing. I'll agree with that.
Yeah, and the crazy thing about that one was I saw so there was another Ansem out a couple weeks ago, and I caught that one on my deck screener, and I was like, man, that sounds like LARP, because I didn't really see Ansem talking about it. And then, like, yeah, out of nowhere, like a couple of days ago, everybody was complaining because they had said Ansem just ran with the vamp and pumped that one. But I looked at this yesterday, and it was at like 48 million. Gosh, it went up to 141. That's quite a 24-hour move. I'm not going to lie.
He intentionally forced the death of the OG in favor of the vamp and made posts saying that he wasn't going to do the airdrop that he did today until the OG was, quote, driven to zero. So it's a really weird situation, because the discussion about vamps and the ability to even do vamps was one of the things that Pump Fund.
Oh, my bad. I was trying to get somebody on the speaker. Go ahead.
The idea that he did this vamp backing was so weird to a lot of people, because that OG had a lot of people that had piled in support of him, and him going with the vamp, I guess it was some sort of like petty little thing that he decided to do. It's a crazy story.
Yeah, because like I said, when I looked at it, I was like, oh, wow. Like, did he drop his own coin? And I went to his page. I was like, well, I don't see him really talking about it. I was like, did somebody just run with it? Because he's had a couple of them out, but I never heard him get behind one with that one. Then, yeah, like you said, yeah, over the weekend, he just kind of went with that back, got a lot of supply, talked about airdrops and this, that, and the third. But, yeah, he's got some motion though. I don't know how far y'all are in the trenches, but if you go back and look at that run that House did last year, I mean I want to say it hit about 50 mil off of one of his tweets. Yeah, I think it went from like 8 mil to like 50 mil in like a day or two, just based on him backing it with that kind of thing. So yeah, we'll see how this one goes. I don't know. Right now, what's the standard bears? Useless, maybe troll, at a couple 100 million, in terms of that. I don't know. I've always said with the pump fund coins, they're a little hard because the supply's only 1 billion. So like, like I don't know, like fart coin, like are you buying that at $2? Like I'm not, you know. But that's. But I mean, like people were doing it, like it.
Come on, think Fartcoin to 100 is a logical decision for me to to make here. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, it hit like 2 billion market cap, but like I mean, after that, like it's like like what are you doing? Like, like there's some real, like you're in discovery territory with some major altcoins for that kind of pricing, per token, But I always think that's just one of those things.
Has anyone looked at
Mikey
Doge
Roots.
lately? Doge, that's a sad story right there. That's the OG.
What's sad about it?
That price that it is right now, like, remember?
Where do you want to start?
Yeah. Well, I think
Oh,
it's like
okay.
7 cents right now or something. Remember, it was like 45 cents when it. I mean, it went up even higher than that. I want to say like 70 cents maybe was the top for Doge, and then it went down after was it Saturday Night Live or Super Bowl went to like 45 cents, and that was low at the time. And now it's like 7 cents. My God.
Yeah, but I think like it's still like top $15 billion market cap. Like, yeah, it's still Doge. I mean, it's a powerhouse. The only thing that's weird to me about Doge is that I think when I got into crypto, it was a shade over 100 billion. I think it's at like 140. Like they got it. I don't know, man. It just keeps printing more Doges.
Can I get in on that? And then I want to make sure that we acknowledge that Mikey's got his hand up. But when you say that it's still a powerhouse and it's still number 15, this is a subject I've talked a little bit about. So this applies to Doge and a couple of other tokens, and I won't go forever about this. But when you look at something that's down 90%, because 72% to 7 cents is a 90% drop, and that doesn't fully represent the amount that some people could potentially be down. You have a significant amount of that market cap that's supporting that position in the market at top 15 or whatever you said that are considerably underwater. And what you have are people that are not going to sell that position because they're not interested or they're not capable of closing a losing position at a loss, and they won't do that. So that market cap is actually kind of like a house of cards, and it's a top 15 for sure, but it's made up of a significant amount of people now that bought somewhere between 7 and 72 cents that are now not probably going to sell at a loss. And how long do they hold? And I think that calculation is, you could do that for a lot of other tokens, Bender. So when someone says something as simple as like, well, it's good because it's good, I don't know if that can be the only reason, because I think about how many people must be under to hold that market cap in place. And I don't know if they can sell, but if anyone did start to, it would hurt a lot.
Yeah, I can see that too. Definitely. I don't know. Yeah, it's still the top. I guess I'll say it's still the top meme coin.
Yeah, the psychology
Yeah,
behind that is fascinating. Like, I wonder what we're going to see when it actually pumps a little bit, as I'm sure it will in the next bull run. A little bit. I mean, who knows how much, but is everybody just going to rush to the exit?
Yeah, I don't know.
I
don't know. I think there's a lot of new blood that's coming from meme coins, period. Yeah. I think you'll see something emerge. Mikey, man, I appreciate your patience here with us. I'm sorry we went on a little Doge rant there, man. First off, man, thank you for coming up here, man, on the Going Off Grid episode 19, man. And go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. A couple of things, and I'll start with Doge because that was the most relevant. I really feel, and I've talked about this a couple times, I feel like there are so many people in Doge that it's not anything that's exciting for anybody to get into. It's not one of those that, yes, it's, hey, top meme coin of all time, whatever you want to call it. But there are so many options that you can get into to where who's throwing money at that? Who is really throwing money at that? Because if anybody can do any type of understanding, there are people just waiting for it to go up to dump on it. So I think that Doge, for what it's worth, for what it was, it will never get back anywhere close to it. And I don't think it's going to bring in a ton of new money. You're sitting at 7 cents. You're lucky if you see 20 again, if it pumps. And in regards to what Queen was saying about, Ansem having no utility, That is what people want. 80% of people in crypto, they don't care about utility, probably more than 80%. They care about if it's moving. If chart go up, they want in. So it's not about utility, it's about what's going to make them money. I mean, Shane's referenced plenty of times the hot ball of money. Where is it going? How am I moving? How am I making money? So you really have to look at it from that aspect. Sure, there's great utility across crypto, but how many times do you see memes overrun utility because people want fast money? That's it, bud.
Yeah, you do bring a great point there on both fronts. I thought at one point, this is just a personal theory of mine, not financial advice, but I don't know if y'all remember, but Sheeb actually flipped Doge for a day. It hit the top 10, and like within 24 hours, like Doge just ran straight back up, overtook it, went into the top 10, kind of never left, and that kind of thing. And just my personal theory, I think like a lot of Bitcoin maxis are kind of behind Doge, like the way ETH maxis were probably behind Sheep, and then like it just kind of became like a main staple after that. I don't know. It's just kind of my theory, but it seems like it just kind of lifted after that and never looked back.
But
You know,
Vendor
that's a
did.
fair point.
Sorry.
So, sorry, Queen. What was the guy that he's a Bitcoin maxi and they give him a bunch of crap because he was launching a bunch of tokens on the side, but he was just funneling all the
Oh,
money he made on
Fred.
that back to his Bitcoin. Yeah, Fred. Good
Fred
old Fred.
Krueger. That's a story right there. That's hilarious. Yeah, we're talking about, I don't know if you guys are in the space, the Bitcoin spaces, but Fred Krueger is like a big Bitcoiner. And he launched a bot, I guess, that was like, I don't know, some 80,000 tokens or something like that, just little shitters right and left. And people were giving him a lot of grief about being a Bitcoin maxi and launching all these things. And so he's blaming this bot, that the bot kind of went out of control and just launched everything. But meanwhile, like as he's speaking, there's more and more being launched. So that's a funny story if you guys haven't been in those spaces.
Well, let's see. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's true. I've been in a couple. It's wild. But I guess his co-host, they had a Bitcoin space that was kind of long running for a while, and his co-host just dipped out. He's like, I'm not doing it anymore with this guy. But there's still plenty of people in the Bitcoin space that still support him, regardless. But Vendor, I wanted to ask about Doge. Like, was that when it overtook she was it because Elon pumped it? Because like now he can't even pump it. Even him saying Doge does nothing basically to the price.
No, I don't think it was the Elon thing at the time. I don't think, because I don't recall. Don't quote me, but I don't recall Elon mentioning anything about Doge at that precise moment. But it was somewhere, I'll say within a few months of when, I don't know if y'all remember this. This was hilarious. This guy tagged Elon and was like, "How much sheep you got?" And Elon was like, "None." And like it was like a week or two before we hit all time high. But it dipped about 5%. But that was at the time when Elon could kind of move markets. But no, I just think it was like the Doge maxis were just not going to have it. Like, I think they just all rallied around like Sheep's not taking out Doge. No, not today. We're not going there. And it was like, because I remember it very distinctly, like, oh my god, we just flipped Doge and we hit the top 10. Like, we're going top 5. Here we go. And like the next day it was like, nah, bro, smackdown, like, you're little bro. And I was like, oh, okay. Like it went like they went up like exponential, like a billion, like in a day. Like it was like something like it looked rigged.
Yeah, talking about Sheep Vendor, like remember when we used to do the SHIB recap? There was news like every day, multiple news articles about SHIB being some kind of payment adoption, some kind of it's positive headlines all the time. And now it's like I just keep seeing these negative from like James Wynn had one last week, said SHIB is dead, and Crypto Basics, like who knows who's paying for those articles, but just trash and right and left. Like I think it's about to fall out of the top 30. Like Doge at least has like Doge Chain and some utility behind it. Like, what's the hope for SHIB at this point?
Well, I think if you take a moment out to tweet about shit, it's obviously still relevant. You know, like I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and defend. I don't know. I, mean, I don't know, man. We're a nomad community at this point. I don't even think we. I don't. You know. I hope I don't upset. I don't even care if I upset anybody. Like we ain't got no devs. We just out here, y'all. It's just us. You know. It's just community vibes. You know, like if somebody wants to create some kind of utility bird for it, great. If not, you know, we just here, you know, and I'm okay with that, you know, with everything. But you know, if you go out of your way to tweet about something being dead and you're a major player, it's you know, it's probably still relevant. You know, like you took time out of your day to tweet about it. It's something like I'm not. No offense, like I'm not going out my way to tweet about how Flocky is probably not going to survive, you know, the meme coin race, you know, if I don't think it's worth anything, you know,
Yeah,
like, and I'm not saying Flocky in particular. I'm just saying like I'm not, you know what I mean? Like if it's dead, it's just dead. Like I'm not wasting a tweet on it.
unless you have a short, you set up a short and you're just trying to FUD it to get the price down. I see Pulse's hand up.
There
I
you
want to
go.
hear his take on this.
Just because you mentioned it, I wanted to chime in. You brought up the Dogecoin side chain L2 and said that at least they have that. They don't. That's actually been announced that it's sunsetting as of June 8th. It's no longer going to be operational. There's currently a 60-day window that runs roughly until August. So any users that are interested would want to get their assets bridged out, as the bridge will be closing. Any assets on Doge Chain will be inaccessible after that time, and the DC token and any tokens and NFTs will also be affected. So please be aware that Doge Chain will become inoperational due to lack of interest and income. So wonder what that means for everyone else here. Just wanted to clear that up.
Yikes. I hadn't heard that, Pulse. I'm glad you brought that up. It seems like Doge and Shib have a lot more in common than I even thought.
I like how Shib Bender equivalated Shibarium to like a kid's beach party where the party's over, but people are just hanging out even though all the food's gone and there's no more entertainment. So we're just here vibing, you know, we're by the water hanging out. Something will happen. I'm sure of it. Appreciate that, but that was good.
Didn't mean to come in and take the wind out of everybody's sails with a little bit of Doge chain information. I just didn't want everybody to think that Doge, well, I just don't want everyone to think that Doge is somehow kicking ass and still doing everything right. Legacy coins are in the shitter, man. It's an industry-wide issue. It's because the interest in the idea that you're going to get into something that everybody's been institutionally interested in for 5 years is fucking stupid. It's a game of greater fool theory, and the last thing I'm going to do is pile into something where I know Elon's kid has $1 billion bag. I'm not stupid. I know the top 8 wallets in Doge are at least controlled by people that were traced back in 2022. So I'm not going to go pile up a giant, just because it's at 7 cents doesn't change my thesis on the fact that Doge is absolutely cooked. So I'm not interested in doing that. And Shib, by extension at this point, if you don't have Shib and you're like, I'm going to get in finally for the first time, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, I cannot imagine not thinking that everyone's bags are, quote, already packed right now. And that's why things like Ansem are going to continue to run. Fresh chart, green field theory. It's not because your project sucks. And by the way, if any of the things that are being said right now bother you, it's because you've put your identity too much into one coin and you've made your identity a thing instead of being an identity who likes a thing. So I'm not saying you suck. I'm saying that some of these things might not come back to where they were. And that's something to come to grips with. People are not going to be interested in and you might even be too fucking old. Speaking for myself, it's going to be difficult for you to catch the new thing because it's not going to be one of these older things that you're interested in. It's going to be some dumb shit that comes out of TikTok or that Ansem's promoting or off one of these platforms, and it's going to be like that.
Damn, this is depressing. So true, but also so depressing.
I'm trying to deliver the bad news in a good way.
Thanks, Pulse.
That's beautiful. You know,
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
and like I said, yeah, I do think, you know, the next runners are coming out of it. Like people like to kill zeros, man. That's what it really comes down to, you know. And if they can, and I don't think any of the communities now have the attention span to really hit like a couple hundred billion, like, or even a couple of billion at this point. Like, if something hits more than a billion, I think at this point it's I'll be shocked in terms of a meme coin.
If it does, it's just
Just
a
to be
bundled
honest.
scam. That's all there is to it.
Yeah. Zach, thank you for providing that picture. I didn't realize it was like $1 million in liquidity in that too. Wow, that's crazy. Handsome. Let's see here. We got Crypto Bag Trav in the building. Appreciate you coming in, as well as Sababa. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you coming into space here. Brand new to that one. My guy BPP, I see you in the building. Zheng Zai Ming. Amber, thank you for coming in also. Julie Cat, Mike, Gabby, Treasure, all Zach from Subway hanging out with us. We got Queen Pulse, Mikey Roots up here. Once again, we're on week 19 of going off grid here with everything. Kind of continuing on here, I will just say, let me go through some crypto news here. Quinn, you kind of talked about this before. Brian Armstrong, you know, going in for tokenizing stocks with everything right now too as well. Also, base was down this weekend a couple of times for like more than an hour, I think, on Friday.
No,
Yeah.
that didn't feel good at all.
Right.
No, it didn't. And it's
They had one goddamn sequencer running in the basement somewhere. Whoops.
I saw that. That, you know, I kind of knew that they didn't have the big validators scene that a lot of the tokens did, but like I didn't realize it was one, like literally one person validating these transactions.
They got one HP Tough book on the second floor of an abandoned office in Virginia running sequencer blocks for the entire base chain, and it went off when everyone was away. And someone had to run back at the office and turn the shit back off and on again. And the nodes, this is what the fucked up part is, because people are running nodes, right? And they couldn't do anything because this one sequencer is offline. I'm not even an expert, but this sounds like shit because it shouldn't be like that. So yeah, that was terrible for base chain. Terrible news.
So much for decentralization. It really is a sham, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what though? That I don't think they sold it as such. I don't think that this was ever something like. I don't think they ever pushed it. I think they push it as like for the people and stuff like that. But I don't think they've ever said it's like decentralized and run by no one. It's fucking Coinbase, right? Like it's it's clearly run by one specific person.
Right. Also this week, Queen, you know what? With the Clarity Act, Queen, I don't know if you remember, but when we were doing the crypto recap, you were just giving us like weekly updates on the first Bitcoin ETF and just like how that process went through the SEC for it to become an ETF. And I'm almost kind of there with the Clarity Act. Like, how much more processes do you need to get to a vote? Like, bro, can we vote? Like, what's the problem? Like, why are we not voting yet? Like, I think 4
Right.
processes ago, it already went through the CFTC and the SEC.
The banks are the problem right now, but I guess they're framing it as a KYC issue or anti-money laundering issue, but really it's just Jamie Dimon and the banks not wanting to give up.
Well, you know, it was interesting. I also had that there too, and I asked Brock about that. And what you're talking about is that Section CO4 exempts part of the AML rule, and basically they kind of shorthand it and paraphrase it. If you don't physically create seed phrases or pass the money, like you're just like a wallet, in terms of a whole, that you don't have to, basically do the KYC and, be involved with this. And law enforcement even pointed this out. And I think it was like somebody tried to just sneak the last bit of DeFi through the whole, like, let's try to get one in for DeFi here at least. Like somebody heard me and was like, yeah, like let's give vendor one DeFi. Like, and somebody caught it. Hold on, I gotta post it. I'm gonna find it now. I'll post that translation up here for Grok with that one. While I'm doing that, Iran moved 3.4 billion crypto to CoinEx to bypass U.S. sanctions. Also, this week on the 24th, this is some interesting stats, y'all. Crypto lost half its value from last year's all-time high of like 4.2 trillion. It was like under 2.1 trillion. Bitcoin also lost half of its value coincidentally. Not a shocker there. At the time last week, I don't know what today's current ones are, but Nvidia at 4 point some odd trillion, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, all the way down to TSMC, which I believe is they make chips and stuff in Taiwan somewhere. They were at like 2 point some odd trillion, but all were higher market caps than crypto's market cap combined. Strategy. I don't know. Who would you rather be, Queen? Would you rather be MicroStrategy and Saylor and Strategy and Michael Saylor, I should say, down 14 billion in Bitcoin, or Tom Lee and Bitmine down 10.5 billion in ETH?
Oh Lord, I'm going to go with Tom Lee because at least his is just lost on paper, not some crazy Chat GPT scam that he's worked up to try to pay these dividends for 50 something years when that year's timeline is decreasing by the minute. Pulse, I want to get your take on this because it's kind of complicated how it works out, the math. But I mean, he's said on an interview that he used ChatGPT to develop this business plan behind Stretch. So, what are your thoughts on this Ponzi?
I like the way you threw that into a leading. What do you think about this giant pile of shit? I think that I've never been one to like when people get put on a pedestal to become the speaker for something like he has been. And I won't make it just about him, but the Tom Lee is a good example. There have been any project where you got this one person at the forefront that says these things that cause these big emotional swings amongst the people that are interested in it, I think is dangerous. And what he's designed for himself works. But if he had just shut the fuck up and made the money, he could have probably been a very rich man, and they could have all probably made money and maybe gotten away with it before everybody came looking for him. But I don't really know enough about how it's been designed from the inside. I don't want to pretend like I know any of his actual internal algorithms or how he's decided that he actually is going to be paying people back. But I know I've seen a couple of clips of interviews where he said things that I'm pretty sure are crimes. So that's concerning. Like the way he phrases things are ways that I know based on my professional experience as a speaker in public for paying projects that I'm not even allowed to say certain things in certain ways. And most KOLs on X certainly don't abide by these rules, but I actually take them pretty seriously. And I know a lot of these SEC, FCC regulations about what you can and can't say, what you should or shouldn't say. And one of the things is about promise of return or promise of financial benefit from investments or assets or purchasing of financial vehicles. And some of the shit that he said in those interviews on stage and stuff is just batshit crazy from that perspective. And I'll just say that that's as much as I know about
it. Yeah, don't quote me on the legalities of it, but I think with, I don't know, I'm going to paraphrase this, strategy depegging from the $100, whatever it was supposed to be at, and somehow he was supposed to be keeping it there. I forgot his math on it, but I watched a video on the conference on him talking about it. But yeah, I heard there's a class action lawsuit coming up about that.
As I would expect there to be, based on the language that he used.
Yeah. But don't quote me. I saw a flash of it on Twitter somewhere. Literally.
Yeah, I just have to think like if we actually do have a black swan, and really I don't even know how much of a black swan it would be at this point because everybody kind of expects it. But it will have Michael Saylor's name written all over it. And I hate to see that really because what he owns 4% the Bitcoin supply, but if things really do come down and he does get, in trouble for the things that he said or promised or can't pay his investors back, like that's a lot of Bitcoin to dump on the market.
Convince the judge to burn it.
Hey, Shea Bender, I just want to say something real quick. You guys, I'm not sure if you guys talked about this, but Jamie Dimon, they've gone religious. So they donate lots of money because every corporate entity in the US has like a certain amount of money they donate to like nonprofits every year. So they donate a lot of money to the Catholic Church. So they're going in the religious route. They're trying to convince people through the Catholic Church that it's that crypto and Bitcoin are anti-Christianity. That's their last hurrah.
Wow.
That's
Same
craziness.
guy that's building a secret blockchain, Jamie Dimon.
Hey, Mike, can
Well,
you give us
well,
a
well. Bybit Jen has a Muslim component. You can actually put it on Muslim version, so they're cool. They're Muslim. They're Muslim compliant.
Wow. Mike Roots, you got any thoughts on this? Bitcoin,
I would
Ethereum,
think something like a
down
Muslim compliant
strategy.
is nice. You make it compliant for everybody. That's awesome. You know, honestly, I think that Michael Saylor is going to be just fine. I think that everything that he's doing, he's going to be okay because at the end of the day, when you have money like that, um, you can do a lot of shit that other people can't. You know, in terms of saying stuff that's wrong. Yeah, sure, I understand that 100%. But when you look at, I mean, look at fucking CZ. What CZ, you know, he's doing fine, right? So I think he'll be all right.
You don't think Michael's going to get this SBF treatment?
I don't think so. I think that he is where he's at for a reason. He's not a younger guy to where it's fast money and hey, I mean, great ideas, but no, I don't think he's gonna get that treatment. I think that before anything happens, he'll probably be gone out of the country, if you know what I mean.
The problem with that is that when you're a certain point of a celebrity, for example, like CZ, when he didn't have to go to jail. You guys know that, right? But he didn't flee because he knew that no matter where he went, that was going to follow him. When you're at a certain level of celebrity, you can't just disappear, right? It's tough. If you're somebody that has crypto and people don't really know who you are, that's easy. But when you're a certain level, you can't just flee.
Which is why earlier I said it was so interesting that he chooses the spotlight so much. It's one of those characteristics. It's like you can't just slide away with the money, man. He's got to be out there talking about it, pimping the product. And you could say like he's the face of the product. I understand that happens to people from time to time, but there's got to be someone in your circle or someone that you can talk to that slowly says, hey, man, we got to separate you from this. Like Stretch is not Michael Saylor. Michael Saylor shouldn't be out the one. We should have a team of associates and individuals that represent this brand in public. And we need to hire spokespeople and people that speak for us in our advertising and shit, I don't know. Let's get Tom Brady on board. Whoever it takes to put out.
How'd that work with SPF, by the way? Tom Brady on board.
Exactly. Do you see where I'm going with this type of shit, Mike? It's the same pattern. That's why I said, are you sure he's not going to end up in jail the same way? Because it essentially just, you got to distance yourself, but he's already buried too far into it. And now CZ is gunning for him because I think CZ realizes that money spent on Stretch is money that they don't make on Binance because it's people playing Bitcoin liquidity off of his exchange in ways that he can't touch it. So now that CZ's got you in the sights, I think you're totally in the shitter.
Yeah, it's going to get really interesting. I think I don't know, on paper I saw earlier, maybe in the last 24 hours actually, CZ Binance did pass Bill Gates in terms of overall wealth. I think he's at like 110 versus 109 billion.
And also, Bill Gates has been declining because remember, he hasn't actually done anything in like over 15 years. But yeah, I get your point.
Yeah, founder of Microsoft. I mean, that's no small feat at any range. I'll put it that way. I would be okay with 1% of their 1% right now.
Hey, most of us would be.
That, but yeah.
Like, Charlie Lee, the founder of Litecoin, he said that if he could do it all over again, he would just buy Bitcoin, make tons of money, and be quiet and be anonymous. I think anonymous wealth is a new thing now.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, I don't envy anybody or anything like that, but I would say if you could have CZ's kind of money and you're walking down the street and nobody knows who you are, like that's probably a beautiful thing.
They exist, by the way. They definitely exist.
Yeah.
It's just they've done a good job of keeping themselves anonymous.
Right. Yeah. There are definitely. I certainly believe there are people, probably maybe not at CZ's level, but close enough to it that it doesn't matter. That are in crypto, and you'll never know what they look like unless you're at the party.
They're not in magazines or anything. Remember, a lot of those wallets are secret, right?
Yeah.
A lot of the old wallets that were like they never brought it through KYC. This is like before KYC was a thing. Yeah, they're out there.
Yeah, they're just probably hanging out at a resort in some far off island somewhere all together, just laughing it up right now. Like, look at ZZ. Look at ZZ. Let's see here. I think I talked about this here at the beginning of the episode. Here, I was going to talk a little bit about communism. We had a couple of communistic, I'll say, proposals this week. First, Ethereum Foundation. Not only did they fire 20% of their staff, about 54 people, in regards to that, but they also proposed about 10% of their validators staking go to projects. And I think the way they framed it is that they're going to put a vote on it for the validators, and if the validators approve it, they're going to make it permanent. That 10% of their staking goes to that. So we'll see how that goes. With that one. And then also, speaking of CZ, this has been talked about a couple of times. It kind of triggers me every time I hear it brought up, though. But CZ did suggest, again, freezing Satoshi's wallet, which honestly, I'm almost at a point. I just hope Satoshi just waits till Bitcoin gets back to 100,000 and just dumps on everybody that talked about it, about freezing his wallet. Because, that's really disturbing. Like, why would you do that to somebody's wallet that founded everything? And for me, Bitcoin and crypto is the epitome of free markets and government not coming to bail you out or save you or anything like that. And, the things you get is we get a hint of some quantum that isn't even an actual thing yet. And y'all just want to freeze me. That's insane. That's my thoughts. Happy 4th of July, yo. Say no to communism. Capitalism. Capitalism isn't perfect, but it's sure as hell better than communism. Not financial advice.
It's the best system in the world. Well, to be honest with you, in my opinion, specifically, U.S. version of capitalism is the best system in the world. Right? There's different forms of capitalism. There's Indian capitalism where you have no welfare at all. You're basically fucked.
China incorporated some capitalistic things, and look what happened. One of the biggest, well, actually, the biggest economy in the world, actually on paper. I think they're generating 10 trillion more than U.S. right now. Franklin Templeton. What they did was, they acquired 250 Digital. They're going to launch their own Franklin Crypto segment now. So we've been talking about Franklin Templeton on and off here for about the past year, with ETFs and, their hand in crypto and that kind of thing, getting full all in right now with Franklin Crypto. Let's see here. I talked about base blockchain down here. You always know I like to keep a little sheep news in here. Japan Rakuten Wallet is sending physical souvenir sheep coins out to its 42 million. I don't know if it's all 42 million of its users, but I believe 44 million actually retail users. But they only did this for Bitcoin, ETH, and Ripple. Shout out to my guy Carthage J for tweeting that one out there with that one. But I thought that was really interesting. And then Queen, I see you, Queen down there is listening. I was wondering what happened to you. So hopefully, usually doesn't take her that long to get back, but hopefully she can get back up here. But prediction markets. South Korea, not really a prediction market, but I just found this kind of interesting. I just put it under prediction markets. But they've got a bill right now proposed by lawmakers to tax unrealized stocks and real estate. So unrealized gains on stocks and real estate. South Korea, which I believe is typically capitalistic versus North Korea. Not financial advice, but I'm pretty sure. Also in predictions, Meta to create a predictions market app. Nothing like Zuckerberg coming up with the best ideas.
many of which have failed. But remember, every time that these companies fail, they can write it off as a tax write-off. So to them, it's a win-win.
I mean, I tell you, I honestly, if he hadn't just gone left to center with the metaverse, he'd probably be all right now.
Or the
You know,
crypto,
in terms of-
or the crypto
yeah.
stuff. Shit.
Yeah, he's stolen a lot of good ideas outside of that.
Every good
Clean
project
on-
he's had that's been successful in the past, like basically 5 years, has been something he's threatened another company to take anyway. So they sold it to him. Let's be honest.
You know what? That makes sense. Instagram probably just didn't have a choice. Like, hey, if y'all don't let me buy it, I'll just incorporate it. All right, you know.
Yep, that's what he did. The CEO of Instagram said that they threatened him, and he was like, "Listen, we're going to steal your ideas anyway, so just sell it to us."
Right. It's funny, you know. Early on, I would randomly, because I've been on Twitter for so long, I was doing hashtags on Facebook, but they weren't showing up on hashtags. And people were like, "Why you keep putting pound signs by words?" And I'm like, "Oh, y'all will find out." Like, because it wasn't showing. Like, I wasn't even thinking. I was like, hashtag this, hashtag that, you know. And people were like, "Why are you doing that?" And I was just like, "Oh, yeah, like y'all ain't hit to Twitter yet, huh? Okay." I was like, "Y'all find out." Like, I'm pretty sure it'll be on Facebook soon. That's just a random one. Poly Market also is now live on Telegram. I didn't read any details in it. I haven't seen it on Telegram myself. I don't know what that is. I think we talked about this a couple weeks ago, or maybe even last week. You know, Poly Market had a radio ad out there coming to somewhere in the U.S. near you. Also, speaking of that, they passed $1 billion in revenue after 6 weeks after their U.S. launch. And then shout out to Queen for this one. The CFTC launched a sweeping probe into Poly Market for them. I think we talked about this last week in regards to their what was it? The fake ads that the created ads that the influencers were making actually off of fake websites about their betting and wins and everything. So, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm really shocked because the federal government had announced that prediction markets are going to be under their jurisdiction. I believe when Minnesota banned prediction markets in the state, the feds are trying to step in and say, no, you can't do that. It's under federal jurisdiction. So, you know, it must be really something serious for the CFTC to do this probe into them, you know, in regards to that. So we'll kind of keep an eye on that one.
Bender, not just Minnesota, Rhode Island too. The CFTC sued Rhode Island and Minnesota, both states, for basically trying to ban prediction markets.
Oh, I knew there was another one. I couldn't remember which one. It was Rhode Island.
Yep, that's what you have me here for, bro. All I do is ask Jen. All I do is stay on the news all day.
Hey man, I appreciate it. Hey, speaking of that, Gabby, Mike, if y'all got spaces, I can't keep up with everybody's schedules. Yeah, if y'all got spaces, man, put them down in the comments for us too. You know, we always welcome the parties when it comes to spaces. Amber, if they're doing one tomorrow for Beyond the Blockchain, please post that down there for us too. Shout out to you. Appreciate you hanging in there with us. Everybody that's in the room. Hippie Kitty, thank you for coming through too as well. We appreciate you.
By the way,
Thank you
Bender,
for going off grid.
just FYI, we're taking a break for 2 weeks on our spaces on Tuesdays because, you know, it's holiday, so we're like, hey, fuck it. That's why I'm trying to get people to come here tonight. But yeah, I don't know. Go ahead.
No, that's love, man. I appreciate it, man. 1,000,000%. We don't. I don't know. I haven't been with this one like I was with the recap. Like, we were going through holidays and everything. I don't know. I think me and Queen had something going on about a month ago, and we just were like, you know what, we'll get back to it next week. Like, yeah, it's not, you know, like my track record's out there. You know, like I can Iron Man some spaces if I really need to, but you know, just like it's been like real life, so I'm just not tripping right now, y'all. My thought perspective has changed with a lot of things just through some of the stuff I've been going through in life. Life is short, you know, take a break if you got to, but don't stop. Don't ever quit, y'all. Let's see here. Oh, you know, Mike, I'm glad you're up here. let's see here. You know what? I'm gonna go through my AI stuff first. NVIDIA announced warm water cooling data centers. Shout out to Queen. You know, Gabby, that's a good one for you. They announced these warm water cooling data centers that they're coming out with. Like we talked about a couple of weeks ago. You know, it's been pretty much a thing. Like, you know, you just either went the cheap route. I think it's something more nefarious that you had to use these freshwater outlets, you know, to cool your data centers when you could have been doing it all the way along. You know, intercooling data centers aren't a new thing. But you know, we'll give credit where credit's due. NVIDIA's coming out with something. They also partner with that company that's putting the home little mini data centers on the side of houses, getting people free internet. Think paying you up to $1,000. You know, you can look into more of that one. But we talked about that one a month ago. So, and NVIDIA did do the also did the helped out with the design of that really cool farming machine. I talked about that one about 2 months ago. It was using lasers to zap you know, insects and everything like that. And it was like versus, you know, them spraying just like pesticides and stuff. I don't know. There's probably a lot of crap they got to jump through in the farming industry to kind of make that one relevant. Like I'm pretty sure John Deere's got a nice strong hold on that. But yeah, we'll see how that kind of goes. But you know, the one thing I can say about the NVIDIA guy is that he kind of stays bullish on AI. Like he does not have mixed messaging like the Anthropic guy. He's always bullish. Ford, speaking of bullish, my side of AI now. Ford rehires 300 engineers after AI failed to give the same kind of expertise as those engineers. So good to see some good old fashioned brains and minds being relevant. And honestly, that might be a short term call. Like they might just taking the AI back to the lab for a couple of years to retool it until they get that one right. You know, who knows? But I'm pretty sure AI will definitely be in the mix with those engineers. Alibaba used 25,000 accounts, y'all. This is kind of a crazy story. I'm not going to go through a ton of it, but they used this to steal Claude AI, the upgrade, the Fables 5. So what they did was they went in with 25,000 accounts. They prompted it all these questions, figured out how it works, trained their AI model on it, said, thanks, Claude, gave it back, and basically got the whole upgrade for free. Well, whatever cost them for 25,000 accounts. And they haven't done justice to Claude AI, whatever Chat GTP. I think they got DeepSeek, which I think is already a Chinese model. That one too. Like they got about 3 or 4 of these by doing this, but it's kind of interesting. And then also speaking on that kind of same level, Trump ordered the new Chat GPT 5.6 to be delayed. Turned around, then released it, and I think they've already figured out. And don't quote me on that last part. I don't know. I think I made a joke about that, actually. I'm not going to say China stole that one yet, but yeah, it wouldn't shock me if somebody did. But this one's crazy, y'all. The Mythos, they did the defense, not the Defense Department, some senators on the Defense Committee, some secret stuff, classified things. So they got a preview behind the scenes on the real capabilities of Mythos. Apparently they just told it to go hack a bank, pull out everybody's funds. It figured it out and did it in a demo. Then figured out the vulnerability of the bank and sent a patch to the bank to fix the issue on how it did it. Like stuff like that. Just like with a prompt. And yeah, like China got a version. And they're kind of nervous about that now.
Chip, isn't Mythos the one that they think might be sentient? There's one of them that they think might be sentient.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure because they keep talking about, Mythos was only supposed to go out to a few things. The the Pentagon, I think it was probably, and they never really quite came out and said it was Mythos, but the Pentagon like actually went after Anthropic to force them to use this AI, and then they called it a threat to their supply chain if they didn't, like Anthropic. But then they turned around and used it, and then they bragged about using it. I think in the Iran war, with everything, but. Yeah, it's the capabilities of this one is. I'm pretty sure there's some room Anthropic's got AGI in, and they just haven't like plugged it into the actual internet yet because they're not sure how it'll react. But I'm pretty sure AGI is already here. We might already be running about for AGI.
I honestly think it is. If it's not, I think it'll be out by the end of the year. I remember, like the Ford. Well, you're talking about Ford, right? I find that interesting because I think that it was almost like a test, and they found out, okay, this can't replace the humans. Humans, we still need the humans, right? But I think that once AGI does come out and it can think and it's somewhat sentient, I think that they will be able to replace engineers. Maybe not this year, but I think that we're just having a lot of test runs right now to see how it would work. They're not going to do it all at once, right? They're going to start slowly first and then test it out, test humans, how humans react to getting fired or let go. And then once it all arrives, boom.
No, man, they had no problems with firing anybody. Coinbase just fired like 14% of its staff over AI. Like, if they can figure it out, man, they're letting you go. I know people getting fired from AI right now.
Definitely. I'm just saying that like they're not going to fight the whole population for AI like overnight, right? They're going to, they can't have us all freaking out at once.
I think like Ford tried and realized, but again, I just think it's a stopgap. I think they're sending whatever that program was back to the drawing board, get it right, because they probably were saving a buttload of money versus paying 300 engineers.
Exactly, I agree with you. There's a stopgap. They're gonna try to bring it back. They're just figuring out the kinks.
Yeah.
It was a test run. Is that a better phrase, Bender?
Yeah, and my guess is that AI will be a very highly used component of those 300 engineers when they come back, and I'm pretty sure they're just training their replacement now. Don't quote me on that because I'm not in Ford's boardroom, but if I was Ford, that's probably what I would be doing. Like, I'm gonna bring you back long enough so this AI will just watch what you're doing and get better. Then we'll fire you again. But if you're an engineer for Ford, you don't have a lot of places to go. Go back and get your check.
Or start trading crypto. Just as I was saying, that's what they were saying to the guys in Facebook and Meta that got let go. It's just like, yeah, you can trade crypto now full time.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. So, interesting stuff going on in AI this week. Last but not least, I got to give Trump where credit's due. I talk a lot of trash about both sides of the party, but this week, something I actually totally agree with on Trump. I've been saying it for a couple months now, actually, since the war started. Big Oil is gouging gas prices. DOJ, he ordered the Department of Justice to look into it. He's like, the barrels a gallon, the gallons per barrel, whatever, down for oil. Why isn't that being reflected in the markets? Because you always see it, like, as soon as anything happens, with the war or something, the price of gas will spike up, but it's always just, we need every little excuse for it to go down 30 or 40 cents for a month, but hey, if something wrong goes happen, it shoots up 50 cents in a day, that kind of thing. So I hope he really does look that. But I mean, honestly, even without a war, y'all, like, it's just Big Oil's been doing that. Like, they'll just hit you for gas prices on a holiday weekend on a random day. Like, it wouldn't shock me like 4th of July. Like, just gas prices go up because they just print money right now. Not financial advice. I'm not Big Oil. Big Oil, if you're listening to me, I'm not accusing you of anything. I'm just looking at previous trends. Callie, speaking of, this is kind of not only Big Oil but also AI. How about that? But California consumers, they sued Walmart, they sued BP, they sued Marathon, they sued 7-Eleven over use of AI to manipulate gas prices in the state, according to Bloomberg. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. But yeah, that was interesting. I know. I shouldn't say I know. I will say the accusations and class action lawsuits have come up against what is it, apartments for kind of coordination using AI, to kind of keep their rent prices around the same. So kind of no matter where you move at, it's all the price. And then this one, this one I'm just not gonna lie. This one's kind of crazy. So the EU, the European Union, they got a building where the European Union is housed. So the junior workers work up to 7th floor, and then the senior, big baller people in the European Union, they work on the higher floors. So, they go green energy, that type of thing. They shut down the AC for the workers in the building on the 7 floors below them, but then they kept the AC running for the top people in charge on the higher up part of the building. Like, it's so bad in the European Union right now. Grok said that they can't get AC. You gotta jump through some hoops, that kind of thing. But it is out there. But there's kind of a push against it. France actually had over 1,000 people die from heat. Probably no relation to the AC issues ongoing there with everything. But China actually was. Let me pull that up here for you. But they actually they were showing these pigs getting air conditioning into their pig stalls, and it's bad when China control you. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's just shout out to China, but yeah, what's going on in Europe, y'all? Get some AC, y'all. It ain't gonna do nothing to help out the planet, man. If everybody people dying from heat strokes are not helping the planet. That's not helping the CO2 cause. I'm pretty sure decaying bodies are contributing to CO2 somehow. It's probably not great for the ozone layer. I don't know. I'm not an ozone layer advocate, but yeah, if it comes down to heat, man, especially for the elderly people, man, you don't want to be frying in the house, man. That's crazy. Yeah. All right, that's all I got through this week, y'all. Mike, any last thoughts?
I was wanting to say that like the thing with Europe is that it usually doesn't get that hot, right? So they're having a crazy heat wave. I mean, I remember when I lived in China, that when I first got to China, it never really got that cold. It didn't snow, but it started snowing, so they needed heating, and they didn't have heat. So yeah, we're just living through some times that it's just I mean, regardless of we know for a fact there is climate change, regardless if you think it's human caused or it's natural, there is climate change happening. So it's just historic times in every sense of the phrase.
When you say Europe doesn't get that hot, what's the summer average of Europe?
Well, I can only speak for Spain and England. So when I went to England in 2021, it was August and I was freezing, right? And I'm from New York City, and I was, why is it so cold? They're like, that's British summers. So for them, it gets 80 degrees. They're like, fucking shit, this is hot, right? So yeah, it's again, I was cold. It was nighttime, and I was cold, and I got in August, the hottest month of the year, when I got to England. So that's my experience with the UK. It rains every day. It's cold. So for them, hot when it gets hot, for them it's really uncomfortable. So a lot of apparently British settlers back in the 400 years ago, whatever they came, when they came to they went to places like Mississippi, Georgia, the South, they would actually get sick because they weren't used to this kind of heat. So yeah, it doesn't. They're not actually used to very hot weather.
Yeah, they still should have AC, man, just in case. That's kinda
100%,
crazy.
brother. I agree with you.
I don't think I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all here. I don't think Florida, like southern Florida, for example, should probably keep like a ton of salt and snowplows for just in case. You know, like if it gets like if there's like the rare event of like I think last year like a polar vortex kind of touched down there and it hit like 30 degrees in Miami or something. You know, like maybe you can just shut down for a day or two. But like if you're in the Carolinas, like and it snowed like every year, like yeah, maybe you should look at that. Like it might only be for a day or two, but like yeah, if it's like stopping your whole city, maybe you should look into that. You know what I mean? Like you should have like AC just in case. Like if you're in Europe.
Also, the iguanas froze, brother. Like the iguanas in Florida was so cold they froze, and apparently when iguanas freeze, they're hibernating. But like they try to kill a lot of them off, which is kind of fucked up.
Yeah, they were capturing them. I guess because the population of them also down there is so out of control. Don't quote me on this. I'm not like Florida expert, but they do a lot of things with them. Like you know, it's a big delicatessen down there. You know, in regards to that too. So, but yeah, you know, like I think like yeah, like Texas, for example, like insulate your electric grid. You know, like you've had enough of these waves come in now. You know, like it's put a shock on your system. Like there was blackouts for like a week in Texas. You know, like you've had those happen a couple times. Like upgrade your systems. You know, like quit being cheap. Like your Texas. You know, like things like that. You know what I mean? Like if you have if it's a one-off, I get it, but yeah, it's been hot enough in Europe, man. Like you know, there's a pattern there. Like, get you some AC, bro. Not financial advice, but yeah, just my opinion. All right, y'all. Let me just say this. I'm really sad. Spaces for somehow I don't know what keeps happening with Queen and not being up here because she's so great at her final thoughts, and I just know it's really hard to kind of keep up with whatever her mind state is, and she's just one of these brilliant people. She'll come up with like these articles and trench lessons and things like that. Like if it was me, y'all hear my headlines. Like I occasionally give you some stuff, but like I will find the weirdest stuff online and just talk about it. But that's kind of also my personality, which is cool. But she's such a good yin to yang. I guess you'll say on that, but she would probably tell you something to the effect of, this week, always be mindful of your, keeping your assets safe in crypto and, revoking those privileges and, wallet safety and, watching out, don't click links and that kind of thing. And one of the first spaces I ever heard Queen in was. She was just given this master class on NFT security, and I had no clue like NFTs even needed this kind of security. But like apparently, it's just as easy to steal NFTs as it is crypto. And I was just kind of new to everything, especially NFTs, and I was just like, "Holy cow! Like this is pretty deep." And I also thought for a long time that she's the CEO of Ollie's. I still think she is, but that's another story. Just be thoughtful of your fellow person out there and try to help out. And, especially if you're a woman and entering this space, please follow Queen. She does a lot of remarkable things for the women's space with the She Women now, rebranded as Queens of Crypto with that one too. The communities are still up. I don't know if, X is kind of thinking about them just to, kind of see if maybe just putting that out there is reviving them. But, I think you can still join. I've joined the community, or two since then with everything. And, she's also got not Telegram, but a Discord with that one too. But I think you'll probably get a little bit more of it, here on X in her with everything. So just make sure you follow Queen and, can't say it enough. I always appreciate her presence. Mike, thank you for sticking up here with us. Also, we had Mikey Roots and Pulse Digital up here earlier, and everybody that's come through the space and hung in here with us. for this episode 19, and we appreciate you so much. We'll keep an eye on this Clarity Act. Mike, give me
shit.
something bullish. I know you're
Oh
like
yeah, my
you're
bad. I
like a
forgot about that.
government lobbyist. I know you do stuff with the government. You've talked about space, so I hope I'm not doxing you. But give me like one bullish aspect of the Clarity Act that I should
Okay,
know about.
so one bullish piece of news is that I'm sure you guys said this already. Senator Cynthia Lummis is releasing the final draft of the Clarity Act this upcoming weekend, July 4th weekend, so people can read through it. And when they come back July 13th, both her and Tim Scott are saying that they're going to move as fast as possible to try to get it passed. Is that what you meant?
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna
LOL.
take bullish on it because I'll say this: if what I would like to see, and I'm not bullish at all on just the Clarity Act overall. I think don't get me started. I don't want the space to go on forever.
Oh wait, that's what you wanted to know? What, like bullish,
no,
something bullish
but
about the Clarity Act itself? Is that what you're
yeah,
talking about?
kind of. But you know what I'm going to say though is that there could be an administration change. There could be another Gary Gensler in lurking in the bushes on us. We probably need something in writing in law to protect crypto at this point because the wolves will probably circle if not. And I don't know what is going to happen with this election cycle in November. And you know, if Congress does change, I think crypto laws are out the door. Like that'll be the last thing they're thinking about for
Yes,
the
you
rest
need
of Trump's term.
That's correct. You want Clarity Act to pass because after the Democrats take over the House, which historically is what happens, okay? So this is just normal. Then they're not going to pass any more crypto bills. But one thing I can say, if you want bullish, okay, that Clarity Act is not for Bitcoin. We know that, right? I think this space is recorded. It is not for Bitcoin. It is for altcoins. Banks are waiting to pour trillions of dollars, trillions into the altcoin market, but they need to know, they need it in writing that so that, you know, they don't invest in all these crypto projects. And then the next, you know, you have, Zen, you have President AOC come in 2028 and he basically just undoes all executive orders and starts suing people again. That's why you need the Clarity Act. But yes, once you have the Clarity Act, you're gonna have trillions of dollars going into proper altcoins, good quality altcoins, not
I'll
Dogecoin.
take that. I'll take the altcoins. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hit the crying face. I meant to hit the love. But yeah, I'll take that definitely. Once again, appreciate you, Mike, coming up here, giving us a little bit of insight. I'm gonna run with that one for the rest of the time here, and hopefully we'll get that Clarity Act over the hill once and for all on the 17th. But thank you everyone that has stuck through this here too. Again, my co-host Queen Mike coming up here. Appreciate you. Treasure, Gabby, Zangs, Sababa, Dosi. I don't think you were in the building here earlier, but I put you in my community shots out this week for your help out with the cleanups and tornadoes in Charleston. So thank you for coming in for us too. Again, this has been episode 19 of Going Off Grid, and yeah, we are good. Y'all definitely be safe in your travels out there. Take care and help each other. God bless.
Ciao.
Check out Seat at the Table tomorrow night. Gabby hosts a wonderful space, very highly educated. Talk soon.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.